The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
Well, it's Tuesday, the 27th day of August, 2024. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House Lindos, and People's Pharmacy. I'm Jamal Hartman. She's Teray Tall, and Maya Palacio will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in her news break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Teray, why did you think I said well?
Because we have a lot to discuss.
We do. You know, I haven't... Since I got my wisdom teeth taken out in June, I haven't had popcorn, you know. I have not had popcorn. And right now, I need some popcorn today.
Yeah, me too.
You know what? So one of my boys, he says yesterday in one of my groups, he says, it's not funny. Like, LOL, it's not funny. Like, this is serious. But I'm just like, I can't.
No, you have to use humor to cope with it. I will say, I feel like a healthy response is one that involves humor. And at this point, what can you do but laugh at some things?
Yeah. So we as Teray said, we got some things to talk about, folks. Some things have been happening. And I think it'd be appropriate. I know you all used to like bacon and eggs and fruit and oatmeal in the morning, but I think, popcorn would be appropriate these days, just ease up on the butter. We don't want to get Dr. Flood on you. It's right. Ease up on the butter, maybe a little yeast, little pinch of salt.
Oh, wait. Can I put you guys on? You know what's excellent with popcorn? Pickles.
Pickles?
Yes. You guys, I'm telling you, you have to try it. You can either get the kosher ones or the sliced ones. I think you should slice them yourself and literally sprinkle pickles in your popcorn. It is so good. I would never leave you astray. You
know what? I'm not going to knock it till I try it, but I probably won't try it. I probably won't try it, but I'm not going to knock it. Well, Sanchez hates You know what's all right? If we're around each other and you make some popcorn with pickles, I would try it. I would. Okay. I would.
Okay, good to know.
Marcia, Robin, Patrice, Bradshaw, good morning, beautiful people. Have a beautiful day. You as well, Marcia. Happy to see you. Traveling Truddy says, Duke popcorn in here. Let's have it.
She's ready.
Suzanne Ingham says, awesome Tuesday, Jamel and Teray. And she says, popcorn sounds great for breakfast. I must try soon. Look, folks, we've got to get to the show. Greetings, everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today, as we welcome Maureen Callender on from Freisenbruch for another segment of Get Insured. We're going to be talking about hurricane home insurance. The daily players are remember when, so a bit of history. It's a political question, so I'm hopeful that Teray, she's got this. She got yesterday very fast, even though I gave her a hint, she said, so I helped her. No hints today. She doesn't need it. But
political history in Bermuda or global political history or America? Bermuda? Okay. I mean, they didn't teach me political history in public school, so it'll be...
I thought after I left, they started doing that.
Well, it must have been after I left because I didn't get it.
All right, well, we'll test our knowledge, folks, and this one's on the education system. Don't forget to subscribe to our website, thedailyhour.com. Again, folks, there will be no shows next week. Next week, you will receive an email if you're subscribed to the site, and you will be able to find out how you can win up to $1,000 in prizes for the 1000th episode which will be taking place as of right now on September 9th when we return, Monday, September 9th. So in order to be eligible, you will have to ensure that you're subscribed to thedailyhour.com. It takes nothing. I don't know if we've sent an email this year, so we're not people who clog up your inbox. We just email you in. We want you to win something. All right. So make sure you do that. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Let's jump right into the conversation, though, folks. Sandra says she's going to settle for tea. She's not going to go with the popcorn. And we've got a hater. Michelle White says pickles.
You guys, I know it sounds strange. I thought the same thing when I'm telling you it is excellent. And then if you like jalapenos, you can also put jalapenos in there. Trust me, it's really good.
I love jalapenos, so I might actually do that. But let's get to it. So the question of the morning, straight to it. What are your thoughts on former Cabinet Minister Vance Campbell crossing the floor to the One Bermuda Alliance? And should those who switch political parties have to stand for re-election? Should those who stand for, should those who switch political parties have to stand for re-election? So if you don't know, Vance Campbell, who recently resigned as the minister for the cabinet office, he didn't resign as a member of parliament. He switched parties. He crossed the floor and is now a member of the One Bermuda Alliance. Now, regardless of what you think of Mr. Campbell, I think this move shocked a lot of people. Yeah. I think it was shocking to a lot of people. And so that's your question for the morning. I mean, he resigned the same time, or at least it was announced the same time as the now former Attorney General Kathy Lynn Simmons, but she stepped right away from politics. She also resigned as a member of parliament, which has triggered a by-election in a constituency. Is it 36?
36. The last one.
Okay, constituency 36, the furthest constituency west. So, audience, what are your thoughts? Like, what are your thoughts on Vance Campbell crossing the floor? Like, do you think that it matters much? Do you care? Like, and also, should those who switch political parties have to stand for re-election? Because what people's concerns are, audience and Teray, is, well, this person was elected as a member of the PLP. The people that voted for them were voting party, right? So what are your thoughts? And I know, Teray, you have a lot to say about the floor.
Well, I think I want to be careful because I feel like there's a lot that could be said here, but I think I want to just let the audience know, let you know, Jamal, that like when the election happened in 2020, Vance Campbell won this seat by 30 votes. So whether you think that he should stand for re-election or not, the margins were close in any case. So I think there's a case to be made of him not having to stand for re-election simply because the margins were so close. So in some form, there will continue to be representation. But I also hear people who are like, no, there should be some kind of mandate or maybe perhaps even some kind of referendum. Like, I don't want to see another by-election. I mean, Maya gave us the numbers a couple shows ago and said that each by-election is costing 30 grand minimum. So we've had 3 in the past, another one C36, that will be 4. That's like 120,000. We also have an upcoming general election that needs to happen soon, which is going to cost just over $500,000. So in my mind, it doesn't make sense to have all these by-elections while we're waiting for a general election. I don't think it's a good use of our funds.
So, Teray, we're not getting a by-election.
Good.
We're not getting another by-election because Mr. Campbell has made it clear that he made this decision because the PLP isn't fit to govern. But I think that this speaks to something greater because we can't, it's like the US election, right? The Democrats have been crying about the Electoral College, which again is not a reflection of democracy, you know. But they've been crying about it since 2000 at least, when George Bush got Florida and all that chaos. But Teray, that was 24 years ago, and still nothing's changed. This happens, we're going to complain and go silent until it happens again. What needs to happen? You know, we can't just keep complaining about stuff. We have to change it. You know, it's even like 2 weeks ago or last week, you said, look, we've got to work to get you back on the vote, on the list to vote. We can talk about it, but we've got to act on it. And, that's going to require me doing some work and making it happen. So I feel I get you. I don't disagree with you. I just want to say, like, I feel like, okay, people will make noise now about, okay, so he switched parties. He shouldn't be allowed to do that, da, 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 da. And then it goes quiet and we forget until it happens again.
Well, I think you're right, Jamel, but I don't want to sound like a defender of the people. But I think there's a big gap in knowledge. Maybe people just don't know what process has to happen. Maybe this is new and there hasn't been any precedent for something like this happening. So while I do agree we have a lot of agency problems to fix in Bermuda, I also feel like people may just not know. And outrage may be the only way that they feel like they can kind of go in a direction. So there's also that option.
Okay. I think so the last time I remember someone's crossing the floor was Wayne Furbett. I know he's done it, but I think he went independent first. Before that, was it Grace Bell back in 1998, leading up to the PLP victory. I think Grace Bell is her name, of the UBP. She was a UBP MP in St. George. I believe she crossed the floor right before the election. It's not something that happens all the time, right? We're talking every 15 years, if that. But it's still something that happens. And as Teray, you mentioned, he didn't win by much. What, 30 votes, you said?
30 votes. 30 votes.
30?
I can give you the numbers. So Vance Campbell got 432 votes. Vic Ball got 403 votes. Vance Campbell captured 51.74% of the vote, while Vic Ball captured 48.26% of the vote. And I think that there were about 8 spoiled ballots and 1 rejected.
Interesting. All right, let's go to the audience. Audience, what are your thoughts on former cabinet minister Vance Campbell crossing the floor to the One Bermuda Alliance? And should those who switch political parties have to stand for re-election? That's a yes or no question. Let us know. Make sure you share this conversation with your friends, your family, your colleagues. Derek Hendrickson says, I think they should have to in terms of stand for re-election. It makes sense to him, he says. Sancha Tai says he definitely should have to be re-elected. He definitely should have to be re-elected. Michelle White says, it's good if you're on the other team, but I don't know about political processes. And then Nicole Hassel says, I have no issue when an MP is crossing the floor. Tells you a lot, though, even Mr. Campbell says nothing. Even if Mr. Campbell says nothing.
Yeah, it does. And also, during the press conference yesterday, it didn't sound like a vendetta campaign, but of course, you can't help but be curious about what happened internally to come to this outcome. But you know what it reminds me of, Jamel? It reminds me of those Republicans for Kamala in the States, because during the DNC, there were a lot of Republicans coming out and saying, listen, I'm not here as a Democrat or Republican, I'm here as an American, which is to say that if we don't act soon and elect Vice President Kamala Harris and Governor Tim Walz, we are in trouble. So it reminded me of the times that we're in. I mean, we are in unprecedented times, and it feels like we've been in them since 2020. So can we get a break? I don't think so.
I think it speaks volumes. I think, at the time when they both resignations were announced, you saw a lot of defenders of the current administration saying, oh, well, people resign for various reasons. It could be personal. And I think this kind of exposes, no, this is bigger than that. These people obviously don't feel like this team is in the best interest of Bermuda. And based on Vance Campbell's own comments, quoted as saying not fit to govern, I would say that that's where we're at with it. I think, as one of my boys said yesterday, like, it's not funny. This is serious. Like, these are the people that are responsible. Now, again, we don't know what actually took place. And I'm pretty sure, knowing how the PLP operate, they will have a response.
They should have a response, I think. If they don't have a response to this, then I think that the PLP will have a response, and they should.
Yeah, indeed. So I'm encouraged. I'm actually, I say this respectfully, I'm actually interested in hearing their response. I'm actually interested. But audience, keep them coming. What are your thoughts on Vance Campbell crossing the floor to the One Bermuda Alliance? Do you think this is good for democracy? Do you think I saw someone saying this is about self-interest. He was just unhappy. He knew he was not going to get reelected in the constituency he was in, and tried to get in another constituency, which I think was a PLP stronghold, and was rejected. So he's basically taking his toys and leaving as an angry child. Like, I've seen people say things like that. Here's the thing, though. I think you'd be hard to find a politician that's not there for self-interest at this point. And that's the sad part. That's the sad part. I mean, maybe it is self-interest, but name one that's not there for self-interest.
Well, I think self-interest doesn't have to mean completely like selfish. Like I think people can be there for self-interest and also for service. And in fact, I think that there's probably even benefit to having people running the country believing that they get something from this because it encourages them to work harder. My problem comes when self-interest dominates and self-interest becomes entrenched. But I don't think self-interest is necessarily a bad thing because remember yesterday we were saying it's in your self-interest to donate clothes, but of course it's also helpful to others. But Suzanne Ingham is in the comments and she says, imagine if all these instead of all these by-elections, they need to just have a general election and stop wasting our money. Defender of the people, Teray, please defend the people. So Mr. Campbell is a floor crosser. That speaks volumes. Re-election is a should be. Okay, so everyone is in favor of re-election, it seems.
I love that term, floor crosser. Floor crosser. We have a floor crosser amongst us, folks. Let's go to Instagram. We've got a couple comments. Mia Chambray says, I agree, Jamel, not fit to govern. What a shocking, serious statement. Absolutely. I mean, folks, nothing else. That comment, this is a man that was a cabinet minister, right? As far as I remember, Grace Bell, I think that's her name, correct me if I'm wrong, Grace Bell was not a cabinet minister when she crossed the floor to the PLP. Wayne Furbert couldn't have been a cabinet minister in the UBP when he crossed the floor or went independent, then came into the PLP or became MP for the PLP. So all that said, and then in fairness to Wayne Furbert, the Honorable Minister Wayne Furbert, he actually stood for re-election, and I think he and Michael Dunkley, well, no, I can't say Michael Dunkley because it was really still the same side of the coin. But Wayne Furbert, if I'm not mistaken, is the only person who has won a general election on both sides. Both in his seat, both UBP and PLP. So in fairness to him, I mean, he won, right? He kept his seat. I think that's what people want to see from Vance Campbell. Okay, so you're in the OBA now, so you should have to recontest your seat.
Yeah, I mean, he will have to do that. The question is it like, does a person who switches sides need to do that before they switch sides, after, or can they wait it out into a general election? Because there's no debate. Like, he's definitely going to have to stand in re-election soon. But I guess the question is, should he have to do it before or after, like immediately?
Yeah, that's a good question. Nicole Hasselhead, she says, was the late Julian Hall an MP who crossed the floor as well? I'm trying to figure out if he was elected at the time when he switched, because he was UBP first. I'm not sure if he was elected when he switched. Let's go back to the audience. Suzanne Ingham says, didn't Kim Swan win as well? The OBA. Kim Swan was UBP. And then that seat was won by Nandi Davis by 4 votes by the OBA. And then in the next election, Kim Swan won that as a member of the PLP. So you can technically say that he's but also won a seat both as the UBP and PLP as well. So that, thank you for that, Suzanne. Sancha Tai says, definitely not a shocking comment. I think in recent years, there have been many members that have suggested this. They get replaced quickly, though. Well, in fairness, we really haven't replaced the Attorney General. We just gave Kim Wilson an additional responsibility. And the fact that Kim Wilson still has the health ministry is very telling as well. I don't know if anyone else notices, but the health ministry is a lot, and the Attorney General ministry is a lot, right? So, yeah, the fact that the premier is he running out of friends? I don't know, right? We can only speculate from the outside, but the fact that Kim Wilson has 2 of the most important ministries, that says a lot. It says a lot. Michelle White says, shouldn't the premier have sorted this out when Vance handed in his resignation and not leave it to Vance? Well, did the premier know that Vance was is disgruntled, or did the premier know that he would leave the party? He probably didn't. He probably just thought he doesn't want to be a part of cabinet anymore, right? I don't know.
And you know what I don't like, Jamal, though? I feel like in Bermuda, there's a lot of secrecy. I feel like in the States or like maybe in the UK, there's transparency about everything. Like somebody would have wrote a 50-page essay about why they're leaving the party with names in here. But now it's like there's nothing. It's just I'm switching because I can no longer say to my constituents in best faith that this government will do what they need. And that's a quote. And I feel like maybe the people deserve a little bit more. Maybe he's telling his constituency, represent his constituency members more. Like maybe he's telling the people more and just not the news outlets. So I just feel like the public deserves a little bit more information about everything.
It's interesting because Mia says on Instagram, she says the fact that the PLP came third in the by-election says it all. But I think this could also have impacted and influenced Vance Campbell's decision because he's like, look, Senator Lindsey Simmons got beaten.
And not by very much, though, Jamal. Like I will say that yes, Senator Lindsey Simmons came third, but she didn't come she wasn't way, way behind. I think it was just a couple of votes.
Respectfully, you got beaten by an elderly man who hasn't even been involved in politics in about 30 years. That is an eye-opener. I don't think it's a numbers game. You came last after an independent candidate. An independent candidate got more votes than a sitting senator. I think that's what speaks volumes. I don't think it's a matter of the actual numbers. I just think, and I get, okay, in fairness, that is Sir John.
Exactly. I was just going to say, this is a national hero, a living national hero who has aura beyond means. I don't think it's fair to say that just because he hasn't been in politics for 30 years doesn't mean he doesn't have the influence. He definitely does. And I think it is a numbers game, Jamal. In the same way that we said that Vance Campbell only lost by 30 points, I think it's fair to say that Senator Lindsey Simmons didn't lose by much. So, I mean, nobody's debating that the race isn't tight. It is tight, but I don't think that, the by-election with Sir John Swan, Senator Lindsey Simmons, and now Robert King is like a testament to this really big gap with the PLP.
You have to give context. That seat that Vance Campbell won, that's a UBP stronghold traditionally, number one. Number two, that was David Burt riding high on the pandemic or whatever people want to call it. But that was that riding high, and you had made people believe. I mean, look, let's be honest. That pandemic election was treated as a general by-election for many people, so people didn't show up. So I even think with that, Vance Campbell probably didn't stand a chance, regardless of even if the government was doing well. That's just not a PLP stronghold, and I think he faced reality with it. I think that was a reality check. Whereas Michael Dunkley turned that constituency that Robert King won into a OBA stronghold because it wasn't before. Patrice Miners held that in the 2007 election, right? So Michael Dunkley, due to his work in that area, he and then some boundary changes as well, helped him there. But I think it's still, I mean, look, you just saw the Olympics, right? You saw how close some of those wins are. Noah Lyles and that. I mean, look, the only numbers that are remembered is number one. So
no, but I agree. A win is a win. But where I disagree is that it's so drastic that the PLP is suddenly just not able to retain some votes, especially in the case of C10. Because I mean, Sir John Swan, who would want to run against him?
I'd run against Sir John. I mean, I might not win, but no.
Yeah, and I also want to say I feel like Senator Lindsey Simmons, she had a good campaign. I was really impressed with her campaign, and yes, she came last, but I don't think that it was so that the numbers were so devastating.
I think it was a message to the party, though. Derek Hendrickson
definitely
says transparency, or is the media more vicious elsewhere? So they are forced to give more information to control the narrative. Well, in fairness, I don't think we have an aggressive media. I don't think it goes along with the community that we have. As far as Bermudians are not tolerant of aggressive media and not necessarily investigative journalism. Renee Sherilyn Simmons says that's true, but the PLP have many floor crosses. Wayne and Kim, don't forget Jamal Simmons. I don't get it if they're against the opposing party's mandate. Why would you join them? I think that's self-serving, forgetting your constituents and the party they voted you under. I mean, I understand that. I get it. I do. Shamari Talbot Woolrich says Vance Campbell was unwanted by the branch members and left a bad mouth in the bad taste, I believe, in the mouth of constituents. He had no future within the PLP because he had no options left, so he crossed the floor. Well,
all this is speculation. I feel like unless the public is given some kind of information and detailed information by the PLP, the OBA, and Vance Campbell, then how are we supposed to know? All of this is just information that is unverified and not like official. So I feel like the parties themselves and the people who make these decisions need to get really serious about being honest and transparent from the get-go. So we're not left to speculate.
I look forward to the PLP response. I do. Suzanne Ingham says, yes, Jamal, it wasn't numbers. It was very clear that the people are fed up with what's going on. And C10, the results in C10 spoke volumes, and it was loud, still echoing. Renee Sherilyn Simmons says, why he just didn't wait for an election to be called, then make his move. Shamari Talbot Woolrich says, this is literally the bottom-up process of constituents seeing an MP not working for the people and dismissing him. And she says, you tell him, Teray.
Period.
Why are you yelling? But it's an interesting time, Teray. It's an interesting time. I think that, as Mia says, agree, Teray, more transparency, less rumors. And I think that's what people want when it comes to politics. They want transparency. They want to know what's going on. I mean, it's easy to say that Vance Campbell was lazy and, his constituents wanted him out, right? But at the end of the day, that's still reflective of the party. You had someone that was a cabinet minister. You had someone that was a sitting MP that constituents, you're saying, think, he left a bad taste in people's mouths. I think that says more about the quality of candidates that you're picking in people. I don't know. I mean, this still is a reflective of the party. I mean, I don't think we should look away from that.
You know what else, Jamal? I mean, you're so right. Like, we're in such interesting times, and I was thinking about it. Did you know that this year is an election year for the world? Like, mostly everyone who lives in a democracy is going to the polls this year. I mean, I don't think Bermuda is going to the polls this year, but next year we might be going. And I was just thinking about how much the world has changed, how much our politics has changed, how much everything has changed. Yet, some things still seem to stay the same. Like, why don't we know? Why are we still speculating? Why is there no clear indication of why this person has left? I mean, I don't want him to run a vendetta campaign, but I want him to be responsible for the seat that he has and to the people that he has. And also for the PLP, I know Shamori just came in the comments. If that is the case, then that should be reflected in a statement from the party. I mean, why are we left to wonder? This is annoying.
Yeah. Let's bring Maya Palacio in for Daily on News Break. Let's see if she's got any other insight for us on that. And we may have a guest afterwards. I don't see a guest, so we'll continue the conversation if no guest shows up. Stick with us.
Good morning. Good morning.
Greetings, MP. How are you?
Oh, feeling like it's a busy one today.
Yeah. When things like this happen, I'm sure things get interesting on the news side.
It gets pretty interesting on this.
Yeah, but there's so many other things in the news to do, and then they just drop you this and there you go, more work.
Scrambling to find out the latest. Thank you, Toyota, for giving some insight even on the voting counts and everything for when he did run in 2020. That was great insight to have because, it was a very close margin for Vance Campbell and Vic Ball. It was with the OBA anyway. So
I have a question based on that.
Yes.
So is Vic Ball still in the OBA? Do we know that? Because if he is, does he then who runs in that constituency now?
Okay.
I believe it still has to be Vance Campbell right now because he did win it, even though he switched. It wouldn't be changed unless in the next election. That's got to be up to the OBA. I haven't heard otherwise whether or not they're going to bring him into that seat or maybe place him somewhere else, or even for Vance Campbell, if he's going to stay in that seat or they're going to place him somewhere else for the next general election. That could still be something up in the air too. That's a good question.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Oh, good morning, everyone. This is your Daily Hour Newsbreak brought to you by the great people at People's Pharmacy. So starting on the news this morning, yesterday, you would have heard me come on here and talk about a collision that occurred with a gentleman who was about 50 years old. Now, we have horrible news to update because the police can now confirm that the death of the 50-year-old man was a serious injury in a single vehicle collision in Southwest St. George's. So his name is Mr. Steve Parentchief. And at the time of the collision, it was believed that Mr. Parentchief was traveling in an easterly direction when he lost control of his vehicle and collided with what is believed to be a curb. Life-saving efforts were immediately commenced before taking him to the hospital, but he later succumbed to those injuries in a very short time. So this marks the 5th road traffic fatality for 2024. Now, police obviously extend their sincerest condolences to his family and loved ones. And again, they're still asking if anyone did witness the collision to call them on 211.
No. That was the okay. Oh man, it's definitely sad to hear that. And that's the 5th this year.
That's the 5th this year.
Okay. Well, I don't like to say this, but definitely sending love, comfort to the friends, family, and the greater community impacted by that. But man, ooh. And the last 2 have been single vehicle, correct?
Yes, the last 2 have been single vehicle.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, recently also in other news, the police were shot at, and they also addressed it at a full press conference the other day. Now, the commissioner said that shortly after midnight on Saturday, August the 24th, police officers were responding to an incident near Khyber Pass in Warwick. As they approached the junction with Curry Lane, they observed 2 males riding a motorcycle heading south along Khyber Pass. The passenger discharged a firearm at our officers. In response, the officers pursued the suspects in an attempt to stop them. The rider lost control of their motorcycle, and in the course of this encounter, our officers discharged their weapons. The suspects managed to escape on foot. This is not the first time that officers have been shot at, he says, but this is the first time that in performance of their duty, BPS officers have discharged lethal weapons at another person. I want to stress that thankfully, there are no reports of injuries resulted from this incident. I met with the officers involved on the evening in question, and I'm grateful to say that they are doing well considering the circumstances.
I don't want to comment on this, Teray, unless you have anything to say. I think I said everything yesterday.
Well, before you guys go on, I'm just include as well that they also reported at this press conference that 14 is the number of firearm incidents that have occurred so far in 2024. Here's a short video.
To date, we have experienced 7 murders since Bermuda Day 2024, 3 of those with the use of a firearm. An example of the community experiencing overall trauma just past weekend, we've had number 1, an officer-involved shooting incident. Thankfully, no one has been reported injured. This was our 14th confirmed firearms incident of 2024. In 2023, we had 8. This is a real concern for the island.
Yeah. I think we echo it all the time. And, I just hope, Teray spoke on this yesterday, and we have this consistent message on this show that it's really on us in the community, right? It's on us, and it's really going to come down to what kind of community we as people want. Do we want a safer community? A safer community may mean, wait for it, giving up that loved one who may be involved in this. Just saying.
Yeah. It's making those hard choices for the greater of the majority, right? So on a separate note, the Bermuda Police Service is also aware apparently of a social media message that's been circulating reporting that a firearm incident had taken place at TCD on Monday morning. Well, they want to inform the public that that is not true at all. However, out of an abundance of caution, after receiving the message, police were dispatched to the area to provide reassurance to the people in the area. The spread of disinformation is unhelpful and may cause unnecessary anxiety to people in the community. They also close up by saying that they urge the public not to engage in such practices should a significant event take place. The police will be informed and they will be in contact with media communications.
That's strange behavior, but okay.
It is Like I'm thinking about like my nana, my grandma, who's like, I don't want to go there now. I'm scared. Like, please.
Exactly. Well, we talked about it this morning. MP Vance Campbell moves party lines after over a decade with the PLP. After resigning as the Minister of Cabinet early in this month, Bermuda now, as of yesterday, before the presser, he says that he is resigned as a member of the PLP and now is a member of the OBA. And we watched as he moved from the OBA and his reasons for doing that.
Sadly, today in 2024, in assessing the years between 2011 and now, the conclusion that I kept coming to was that the political party that I joined many years ago, the Bermuda Progressive Labor Party, no longer presents the best option for securing a better future for Bermuda. I can no longer visit my constituents' homes and say to you, in all honesty, that I still have faith in the PLP. In politics, there are some who put their own personal agenda before our country. They place the interests of the individual before the interests of the island. That is not who I am, not at all.
Who was he speaking about? There's some. Who's the some? I think that's what Terea is talking about. Like, if we're gonna go there, like maybe I'm different, right? But if I'm gonna make a statement like that, I'm gonna say, Maya and Terea, I'm gonna call your names. Like, what? You should. To me, the public needs to demand from Vance Campbell, who are you talking about? You're a politician. You were put there by constituents, by the public. Let's call some names. Let's not be children.
Exactly. This feels very high school. Say what you mean and mean what you say.
Yeah. That was a cowardly statement. I'm sorry, Maya. Not you, Maya, but just what he said.
Maya's like, oh.
I would never think of myself to be put into the news. Meanwhile, the OBA party leader, Jane Richardson, actually marked the moment himself, actually giving us dates as to when we'll probably see that shift from Vance Campbell in the House. Here we go.
On Friday, the 20th of September, 2024, MP Campbell will cross the aisle from the government benches and sit with us in the opposition. This is historical and radically changes the political momentum and landscape of Bermuda and in Bermuda to the benefit of all Bermudians.
I like the way Jaren Richardson has led the OBA over the last couple of months. I think he's actually shown that he is the person to lead that party. I wouldn't be so excited if Mr. Campbell is not willing to announce or say names or speak. Like, you have to be direct. Where's the transparency? No, I no longer believe that such and such because Premier Burt or whoever, like, call name, like, come on, we're adults. Unless it's not true, and you can be sued for what you say. Sorry.
No, just more directions to think about. And those videos were courtesy of Burn News, so thanks for that. And also the PLP did put out a statement. It was pretty long, and they gave actually word for word of something that Vance Campbell actually had said. But I'm just going to read the upper part of the statement when they said, as for the PLP, they acknowledge that MP Vance Campbell's decision to defect from the Progressive Labour Party to the One Bermuda Alliance. This is certainly a disappointment to the countless PLP voters who worked in Smith's West to win that constituency for the Progressive Labour Party in the last general election. That was the highlight of the statement.
Look, what you like on your popcorn, Maya?
Pickles.
I think
Maya likes pickles.
That's the nastiest thing I ever heard.
Whoa! Ever? That's the nicest thing you've ever heard.
I don't like pickles, so that's just my thing. When you said it, I was like, that's a disgrace. No, pickles is not my thing. I'll just take some butter, some salt, and oh my gosh, what Smarties chocolate. But no, yesterday I did not know this, and thank you to Ray and Gerard for bringing it to my attention about Carl Nesbitt, who's running in constituency 36. So let's just get a little bit of information about this man. So Carl D. Nesbitt, LSM, QGJM, a lot of different other letters behind his name for certificates that he has, is the managing director and co-founder of Scanner, is a security system and investigations limited, an up-and-coming security company that offers a selection of security services, in Bermuda. So before taking up residency in Bermuda, Carl served in the Barbados Defense Force, the Royal Barbados Police Force, as a detective in the Central Drug Squad unit. Carl arrived in Bermuda in 1988 and served in the Bermuda Police Service as well in various areas of the organization, which included the Central Burglary Team, Narcotics Department, the Emergency Response Team, Traffic Department, the Motorcycle Police Section, as it was known, Western CID Special Branch, the Joint Operations Unit, the Serious Crime Unit, and concluded his exemplary career in the Central Criminal Investigative Unit. So yes, he was deep and heavy into policing.
I'm sorry, but orders, letters next to your name, ain't nobody know what they are. They're pointless. I'm sorry. I'm being that person. People say, well,
Jamel, people work hard for those letters. People work hard for those letters.
But I mean, come on now, come on. It's ridiculous when no one knows what they are. Let's be honest. It's not like PhD, doctor, MBA, even. Like, come on. Like, as a politician, people will only care about what you want. What can you do? What have you done? What will you do? And how will you be able to get it done? All the letters turn me off. It tells me you're more about satisfying your ego than you are to work for the people. That's what letters like that mean to me. I'm sorry. That's just my personal space.
To me, they build credibility. So there's a mixed bag here. If you worked hard to get your CPA, CICU, whatever, I want to see that behind your name. I would love to see it. But Jamel feels otherwise. So here you have diversity.
You think everybody worked hard for those letters? You got people going around calling themselves doctors by getting one of those things that they give out at graduations and stuff. They only pick people they like to do that stuff. Honorary doctor, that's what they call it. And then talking about, call me Dr. Hartman. Nah, Blair, you ain't earned that. That was given because you gave $2 as a donation. I'm sorry. I don't know,
$2.
I don't know, Mr. Neville. I'm sorry. No disrespect to him. Maya just felt like she is reading an essay of letters. Maya, what's the weather looking like? Because we got to go. We got our guests coming up.
Yes, we do. Just want to close out with some sports. Dej Minus has broken his national record in the outdoor mile after finishing 7th in the Monument Mile Classic at the University of Stirling, Scotland on August 25th. You will recall that he already got a subfloor flat mile that was for the indoor. So this is a different one. So he's made another new national record for Bermuda. And let's get the time there. His new best is 4 minutes, 1 second and 55 seconds, beating his previous time by about 1 second.
Congratulations, big brother. Question. How's the weather looking?
Today is looking generally sunny, a chance of a few afternoon showers perhaps, and we got a high of 84 degrees.
All right, Terry, what you got for days of the year?
Today's National Banana Day, so pick up your banana bread, make banana pancakes, get your potassium in.
I like bananas.
Banana. Do you guys like bananas? Do you eat bananas?
Bananas.
Yeah.
I would do bananas and popcorn before pickles.
You know what? Listen, my goal in life now is to have you guys have popcorn and pickles and love it. I'm telling you, it's great. Like, it's good.
I appreciate that you're such a studious person. You have these goals in life, but I'm gonna let you know, some things are just unreachable. And getting my Aunt Jamel to eat pickles and popcorn probably is one of those things that you might aim high, but you might miss, sister. You might miss. Real quickly, we got to run, but audience, let us know, what do you like with your bananas? My bananas go with my peanut butter shake every morning. If I'm not eating oatmeal, what do you like your bananas with, guys?
I like banana pancakes.
Okay.
I love banana pancakes. My favorite thing to make.
All right, Maya?
I'll just eat it as is.
Plain banana. Maya, thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow. Folks, do not go anywhere. Quick break. We'll be back in 31 seconds with Maureen Callender. Stick with us.
Let's face it, life can be a little wild, but shopping doesn't have to be. I choose People's, so that whether it's a prescription that needs to be filled, a toy for my little terror, or a gift for a new addition to the family, we'll see about that. Everything's available in one convenient location. Some call it People's, I call it my one-stop shop in the city. People's, we're here for you.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level. Wake up in the morning with enough coffee to keep you running throughout the entire day. Your pet at home deserves the best. Stock up on dog food to keep your puppy happy. Need a quick tasty lunch at home? Your chicken nuggets will be jumping right out of the freezer. What's a movie night without popcorn? You can never have too much. Lindo's next level. Why go anyplace else?
Unlock your business potential with BDC's General Microloan, offering up to $30,000 for Bermudian small and medium businesses, whether it's for inventory, working capital, or equipment. We provide 100% guarantee on approved loans. Simple application, low interest rates, and fast processing. Apply today and make your business dream come true.
Summer is almost here. Dive into the season with dog floats and dog pools. Enjoy 20% off West Paul's dog floating toys and shop our life jackets for safety in the water this summer. Get all your summer needs before the holidays and events begin. Don't forget to stock up on poo bags and check out Dicky Bags, the poo bag holder that locks in the smell until you can dispose of it. Remember, even dogs need sunblock, so visit Noah's Ark today, Bermuda's most trusted animal supply store for all your summer essentials, and ask us about our rewards program.
You think you know Bermuda? Well, put your knowledge to the test on Bermuda Trivia, the game show. Whether you're a history buff, a culture connoisseur, or just love your island and people, this is your chance to shine. Show off your skills, win cash prizes, and prove you're the ultimate Bermuda expert. Don't miss out. Your spot on Bermuda Trivia awaits. To be considered as a contestant, register by sending us an email at contact@bermudatrivia.com. Registration deadline is September 10th. All right, welcome back to the Big Show. Teray Tull, Jamel Hartman is me. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy. Folks, please don't forget, subscribe to the website, thedailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Without further ado, we have very special guests on today. We've got Maureen Callender from Freisenbruch, another segment of Get Insured, and we're discussing, well, we just had one of the earliest hurricanes I think the earliest we've ever had. I could be wrong.
No, it is. You're right.
In August, folks, in August. So to me, this is one of the most appropriate conversations for this time, especially for those who are either homeowners, new homeowners, or potential homeowners. So let's give a warm TDH welcome to Maureen Callender. Greetings. How are you? Happy
morning.
Good morning, Jamel. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Thanks for coming and showing up. Some people, they don't show up when they find out I'm the co-host. But for the audience's sake, just tell the audience a bit about your background and what it is that you do.
I'm a team leader and senior underwriter, property and casualty at Freisenbruch, and have been in the industry for 13 years. What I do is I review, assess, and accept risks associated with personal and commercial property in line with Freisenbruch's risk appetite.
All right.
Okay. Morning, Maureen.
Good
morning. What should every Canadian know about home insurance as it relates to hurricanes in Bermuda?
So home insurance provides a peace of mind and financial protection in the event of anything happening to your property. Or your belongings. So home insurance also helps you and your loved ones recover after an unfortunate event, which most times can be unpredictable. So though there's no legal requirement for home insurance, for example, if you're looking to obtain a mortgage or remortgage your home, your lender will require you to have building coverage in place. This is because they're at risk too, as their money is secured against your property. So it's important for you to have a home policy for your peace of mind.
Indeed. Real quickly, Teray, just bring yourself up. And audience, if you have any questions or comments, please send them through, and Maureen will be happy to answer your questions. Again, we're talking home and hurricane. Go ahead, Teray.
So what factors influence the cost of home insurance in Bermuda?
There are various factors that influence the cost of home insurance. One of them is the inflation. So the inflation rate drives the cost of the home insurance because the cost of rebuilding, having the material is inflated. Additionally, the cost of material also affects rebuilding. If your home is constructed, if it's a massive structure, we need to factor that into rebuilding the material. Your square footage and the size of your home also affects your cost and your location.
Interesting. Real quickly, Tariq, just want to follow on up on the location part. So when you're speaking of location, obviously Bermuda's so small, but you mean, so for instance, if you're close to the ocean, it could impact the cost versus if you were more inland?
Absolutely. So if you are close to the ocean, we are more stringent in determining what risk factors are involved when you're writing you as a home policy, because you're deemed to be higher at risk due to storms and flooding. So when you're closer to the ocean, we determine that factor by looking more stringently at your risk.
Interesting. Good to know.
Nice. So what can homeowners do to reduce their insurance premiums? Maybe making their home hurricane resistant, if that's possible.
Don't move close to the ocean.
Absolutely. So there are a few factors to reduce your insurance premiums, and most of them are basically on a case-by-case basis. There's no guarantee, but what I recommend is, for example, at Freisenbruch, we have a variety of policies we offer. So we do have a motor policy, we have the bike, we have the marine policy, we have the pensions, we have our life, and our home insurance. So by bundling all these products together, we'll give you additional discounts and you'd be able to reduce your insurance premiums.
Okay, bundling, noted. So what advice would you give to new or up-and-coming homeowners as it relates to purchasing the right policy for their home?
So when purchasing a right policy, would recommend that you speak to an experienced underwriter to determine what exactly you want to insure. Get an inventory, look at your home. What are you getting insurance for? Do you want protection against hurricanes? Do you want protection against fire? What are you protecting against? The basic home policy actually covers all those perils. And if you want to get more details, you speak to one of our underwriters and we can go through with you and advise the right policy to take at the time, but will suit your needs.
Okay, so speak to a professional. Great advice. So my generation has serious concerns about climate change, and hurricane season started earlier this year, like we mentioned earlier, and is expected to bring even more severe weather in a couple of weeks, actually. How are insurance companies responding to this climate change risk?
Yeah, so climate change, interesting topic. Actually, the first hurricane that we had on record was Hurricane Beryl. That was the earliest storm that formed on June 30th. And it progressed to a Category 4 storm, which was the strongest hurricane over the Atlantic on record for the month of June. And this was due to climate change. So with climate change, there's very unpredictable hurricanes, and they're causing catastrophic loss. So what's happening is we have warmer oceans that fuel these storms. They cause stronger winds, heavier rainfall, and more flooding when these storms hit land. Additionally, they're more common in warmer climates. So what happens, they strengthen and they slow down when they reach warmer climates, as you experienced with Hurricane Ernesto recently, where it slowed down as it made landfall in Bermuda. So creating more catastrophic losses. Luckily for us, we did not experience any catastrophic loss. However, what the insurance company recommends is preparation. Preparation is very key. It can reduce your anxiety, any fear, and any losses that accompany disasters. So it's best to start preparing for a hurricane at least a week before a predicted storm. Being informed is also critical, so you can make the right decisions for the safety of you and your family. Another thing I'd like to recommend is updating your insurance policy. Make sure that you review and update your home insurance policy periodically, preferably annually. That way, all the risk factors that have changed can be factored into your replacement cost.
Okay. Audience, if you have any questions, first, I want to do a yes or no question. Audience, anyone, do you have home insurance? Yes or no? Yes or no in the audience. And while they're answering that, what's the process of getting a home insurance policy? Let's say someone has a car and they want to do a bundle, come and get home insurance. They've never had it. What's the process look like? Do they come in, make an appointment? Is it a quick process where they get the policy same day, or do you have to do background checks? What does it look like?
Getting a home policy is a very quick process with Freisenbruch. You have an option of either going on our website and obtaining the proposal form, which is the application form that will ask you a series of questions based on your risk. Additionally, you could just pick up the phone, give us a call, and one of our experienced team underwriters will speak to you on the phone and advise you exactly what you need to get. And usually the process takes a few minutes, and you can get your policy within the same day, hoping that you have all your information. The most information that we find missing is some individuals don't have the rebuilding cost. So the rebuilding cost is how much insurance they want for their home.
Okay.
So in the event you're not sure of how much you want to insure your home for, we can do an internal survey at no cost. We'll send someone out to your property. They'll take the square footage of your external footprint, and we'll come and give a suggested value. And there you go. We'll give you your policy.
Back in 2003, when Hurricane Fabian struck, I was actually working a summer job in Bermuda at one of the local insurance companies. And at that time, people understood the risk. Like, this was a monster of a storm that was heading our way. And you had a lot of people who were at the last minute trying to get their boats insured, trying to get homes insured. Can you speak to, because let's be honest, some people, I'm not paying for insurance until I need it. What's the rule with Freisenbruch? Is there a rule, like, if, let's say, the government or the EMO announces a storm's heading Bermuda's way in 2 weeks, are they going to get the same policy as if they would have gotten it back in May or in April? What does that look like? Or do you even allow them to insure at that point?
So basically, we recommend when you're getting a policy, do it beforehand, not when there's an impending storm that's predicted. What I see is, unfortunately, if you bring in your policy the last minute, like a day before a storm, you may get restricted coverage by the insurance company, and most likely, you may also not be covered because we have a deadline and cutoff time when we can actually write new policies when there's an impending hurricane. So it's recommended for you to get a policy well in advance to get full coverage, and not when there's an impending storm, so that you don't have any additional restrictions imposed to you by the insurer.
Yeah, that's so interesting, because even, like, it almost seems fraudulent where someone we know hurricane season starts on June 1st. So they say, well, let me get my home insurance in May and then cancel it in December. Like, do we have those instances, and what happens in those instances if we do?
We do have very few instances. However, we write 1-year policies, and once individuals write a policy with us, I find they go through the full term. Why I say that is because they have peace of mind knowing that they have the home policy in place. So rarely do we have them cancel the policy. If they choose to cancel the policy, we'll ask them a series of questions, and to determine why they're not canceling, why they don't want to keep the insurance. And if it's because of only the hurricane that they're taking insurance, we give them advice and speak to them, letting them know the benefits of having a home insurance policy.
All righty. Well, it looks like our audience, we've got a lot of yeses. They have home insurance. Suzanne Ingham says yes, and vehicle with Freisenbruch. Yes, we appreciate you. And Manuela Jones says yes. But before you head out, explain to our audience, just tell them why getting any policy, especially home insurance with Freisenbruch, should be a priority for them.
It should be a priority because, as I mentioned earlier, peace of mind, financial protection, and you know that you're going to be protected in the event you suffer any losses. We also cover, our contents, your personal possessions. You want to be sure that you have all the insurance in place, so that you have all your valuables covered in the event of a loss.
All right. We have someone, Teray asked this exact question earlier, word for word, but sometimes in a live show, people tune in a bit later. So if you can just reiterate what you said earlier when Teray asked what factors may cause an increase in premiums, just for Manuela, please.
So the factors that cause an increase in premiums would be inflation, the cost of rebuilding. So the cost of material at the time to rebuild your home to be in the same position as it was prior to the loss, your square footage, the size of your property, and the location.
All righty. Thank you so much for that. Maureen, just remind people how they can reach out if they're interested in learning about any of your policies from Freisenbruch.
You can reach out at 296-3600 and speak to any of the members of the underwriting team. Alternatively, you can go to our website at freisenbruch.bm and send an email, and you'll get a response from one of our team members.
Indeed. Thank you, Maureen. This has been awesome. Very helpful conversation. And look, we hope to have you back sometime soon, Yeah, we hope to have you back. This is helpful. I really enjoyed the conversations with Freisenbruch. You guys have been amazing in sharing information that our community needs to know. So thank you so much. And we hope to have you back on sometime to discuss some more things that Freisenbruch's doing to help Bermudians and protect themselves. Have a wonderful day.
Yeah. Thank you for your time, Jamel.
No problem. All right, Maureen Callender, folks, if you appreciated that conversation, found the information helpful, please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share the conversation with your friends, your family, your colleagues. We're going to take a quick break and we'll come back and we'll wrap it up. Teray's got a daily inspiration, but before we get there, we got a daily play. And I hope everyone tunes in. This is information that everyone needs to know. 2 minutes, 21 seconds. We'll be back after this. Well, 1 minute, 51 seconds, sorry.
Great news. Our Beat the Heat special has been extended through August 31st while supplies last. Keep cool with our further discounted Carrier high-efficiency mini-split units, plus enjoy 10% off Comfort Zone oscillating fans, Comfort Air units 8,000, 10,000, 12,000, and Hunter ceiling fans when you pay with cash. Don't miss out on these hot deals to stay cool.
Did you know 3 out of 4 people say that they have a good understanding of life insurance? But do they really? When asked how much the yearly cost would be for a 20-year, $250,000 level term life insurance policy for a healthy 30-year-old, 80% overestimated the cost by 5 times the amount. Ready for this? The true cost for that policy is about $220 a year. That's as little as 66 cents a day, or $20 a month. So let's put this into perspective. Compared to other monthly costs, isn't getting life insurance a no-brainer? If you can trim back on some of these expenses just a little bit, it will allow you to dedicate the savings toward an affordable life insurance policy. Contact one of our life insurance agents today to find the right policy for you.
Take a look at our workwear for construction workers and tradesmen. Durable, stretchable in all the right places, and plenty of options for tools and accessories. Paired with our wide range of tough and comfortable footwear, you can't go wrong. As you can see, Medical House really is a one-stop shop for everybody. We can't wait to see you.
See it all at our new expanded location on Bakery Lane.
All right. Thanks again to Maureen Callender and Freisenbruch for another segment of Get Insured. Really appreciate those conversations. Any conversation where we're actually, we have the opportunity to learn and grow. We're grateful for them. Thanks again to the BAC group of companies, Medical House, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we can have these conversations on a daily basis. Again, if you haven't already, please make sure you give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share the conversation with your friends, your family, your colleagues. We want as many people as possible to have access to the information. It is time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia. A new episode. It's probably the funniest and best episode. Was just released on bcgtv.com last night. Bermuda Trivia, the game show. So you want to check that that out. And also the game is available in stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. All right, Teray, are you ready?
I guess.
All right. She says, I guess. It's a remember when, Teray. All right.
Okay.
All
okay.
Right. You've got this. All right. Teray, who was the first person to serve by title as Premier of Bermuda?
Oh, come on, Jamal. By title? Okay, hang on. I can't remember his name. I cannot remember his name. I'm going in the hat.
Pamela Gordon? She was not the first person to serve.
I think we're talking about first female.
No, I didn't say one. Thank you.
It's first person.
Sheldon made it up. He made it up. It was Edward T. Richards. Now I knew someone was going to say this. I knew people were going to say Henry Tucker. Henry Tucker was not the premier by title. He was the first government leader. That's why we say in the question, who was the first person to serve by title as premier of Bermuda? Sir Henry Tucker was the first government leader from June 10, 1968 through December 29, 1971.
Wait, well, what was the question?
Let me finish. The second government leader was Sir Edward T. Richards, who served as government leader from the 29th of December 1971 to April 18, 1973, until he became premier, the first premier, as of April 18, 1973.
I think the question was confusing.
No, it says by title as a premier. By title as premier. It's supposed to be a trick question. It's not straightforward, but by title of premier. Yeah.
Well, there's that one.
But it's a trick question. But no, Sir Henry Tucker was the first government leader, but he was never known as the premier. He never had the title premier.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you look at records, the first premier of Bermuda was E.T. Richards. He was also the first black government leader. Sir E.T. Richards. And Sir E.T. Richards is the father of former Deputy Premier and Finance Minister Bob Richards. Yeah. See, a little history today. We all learned something.
Yes, we did.
We actually had someone reach out in Bermuda Trivia, said, oh, that's not true. The first premier was Sir Henry Tucker. He was not. He was never held the title of premier.
Yeah.
Charles, don't be childish. Teray is not using Wikipedia for
someone needs to fix Wikipedia.
Teray is not using that when she's going to get her doctorate. Charles, stop that. Don't you try to influence her to go on Wikipedia. She ain't lazy.
Okay, but I don't want any more trick questions, Jamal. I don't want the trick questions.
We have to trick you. You're too brilliant.
No, but I feel like the thing is, it's different when you're on a live show. It's like the brain process is different.
You know what you're acting like? You're acting like one of those people who you get an A- and it's the end of the world.
Yeah, it is the end of the world. Because if you study for an A+ and you get an A-, it's the end of the world. You didn't meet your expectation.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Charles said it actually, it's correct on Wikipedia. But no, Karen Simmons says, I watched the latest episode last night of Bermuda Trivia. Funny. Oh, it was the funniest. It was probably, honestly, audience, if you haven't seen it, credit to Dana Celeste, to Jasmine Swally, to Patrina, Power Girl, Mr. Photogenic, the both contestants, Alessandro Belvedere and King Robert Sumner. It was an amazing, just funny. It was probably one of Bermuda's best. And all those people that Mr. Photogenic speaks to, it was funny. Maya said she hates this part. No, Teray, with Maya and the Daily Play. Have you seen her do the Daily Play before?
Yes.
You realize how competitive she is? I wouldn't want to play Maya in basketball. Well, we're still supposed to play basketball, but I'm injured right now. But I don't know, man. She goes so hard. I'm like, hey, calm down. She don't like to lose.
Well, I mean, when you have high expectations for yourself, it hurts to not meet them. And good on us for having high expectations for ourselves, just like we have high expectations for the U14s.
I don't lose. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to find a way to win. Yeah.
Oh, period. That sounds like a cheater. You hear that, audience? I'm gonna find a way. That sounds like cheating.
Hey, look, I will find a way within the law of the rules. How's
Okay, that sounds better. That sounds better because I will find a way. That means by any means necessary.
I mean, Malcolm did say by any means necessary. He did say.
Oh, that's different. Don't bring him into this.
You know what? These intelligent people, they make it hard to get by with some stuff. Well, look, let's wrap it up.
Wait, hang on. Look at Charles H. Jeffers. They will be given trick questions at Oxford. IJS. What does that mean?
I'm just saying.
Oh, look at me. I need to catch up with you guys. I don't think they will, though.
This is a good point, Derek. Conscription was fighting outside the law. Yeah, I don't do things within the law. Look, to change laws, you got to break laws almost. So, that's who I am. I break rules to get new rules done, So I will find a way. Appreciate you, Derek. Thank you. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
You got it. Yeah. Derek, making excuses for my behavior. I appreciate you all. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I feel like you're right, though, Jamal, because the law is in the moral code. Moral code can exist within the law, but I think historically it's always existed outside of the law.
You just made me thank you for saying that, because it's Pride Week in Bermuda and we haven't mentioned it. I just want to send love to all those who are celebrating Pride in Bermuda. Absolutely. I don't think we mentioned it yesterday either. So in saying that law not being a moral code, they're still fighting. And I want to just make note to them before we head out that keep fighting. And as a person who fought for conscription, something I truly believed in, keep fighting until you get what you desire and believe is the end result for you. So just want to send some love out to everyone out there who is doing. We're gotta run because I'm gonna share something personal, folks. I have a shaky hand, right? So I don't know how to shave my face. So I have a 9 o'clock appointment I got to get to. But before we go, we have a question for you, Teray.
What are you studying in school, Teray? Law? No, I'm not studying law, Suzanne. I'm studying for a master's in comparative politics.
Okay. So I'm going to say something. She ain't studying law, but she don't have to go to law school. When she finishes her degree, she'll probably go and pass the bar in like 5 different cities across the world anyway. So, I'm just saying.
Well, Jamal, you have really high expectations for me. That's a kind thing to say, but I don't see a legal future, at least not a practicing, maybe academic. Like maybe I'll do like something along those lines, but no law for me.
Julian Hall did it. If Teray wants to, she can too. Props to Julian, one of the smartest people ever. Well, let's wrap it up. Final thoughts on Vance Campbell crossing the floor and whether or not we should have by-election, and then the conversation with Maureen Callender. What are your final thoughts?
My final thoughts are that's a bold move from Vance Campbell. To do that in Bermuda with the political culture of secrecy, I think it's a bold move. Whether or not I think there should be a by-election, no. I think we have a general election and we can wait. I think the margins were so small anyway that there is a case to be made for him representing the population anyway, or constituency 9, which is where he is. But also, I wanted to say something else about, the responses from political parties and Vance Campbell himself. I really want us to raise the standards and expectations that we have for our leaders and our parties, because I just don't like the way that the One Bermuda Alliance, the PLP, and Vance Campbell handled the situation. I think there should have been more detail. I think there should have been much more forthcoming, more transparent, because I don't like that we're playing a guessing game. We shouldn't have to play a guessing game with our represented officials. So clearly, their allegiance or obligations is not to us. They fear someone else's repercussions more than they fear outcry from the public. And I think that that's a terrible place to be in. So those are my thoughts on Vance Campbell. And then I really enjoyed the conversation with Maureen Callender. I think it's important, especially as Bermuda goes into the rest of hurricane season. Worry about protecting your home, which is, I think, the single biggest purchase of your life. I haven't made it yet, but I can imagine that there's nothing more expensive than a home. So protect it and stay safe.
Indeed. Teray, I can't say anything better than what you said. I echo literally everything you said. And I love when you guys do that, because I don't like to talk just to talk. So I just want to support everything that you just said as it relates to Vance Campbell. I just want to add one thing. I'm going to use yourself and your colleagues at Bermuda Youth Connect. You guys give people hope. And I'll tell you why. I think you give people hope because you're agents of change, not just by what you say, but what you're trying to do. It takes a lot. It takes a lot to actually want to study and be involved in this and to keep up with it. It's, you know, I was talking to someone recently and I said, ignorance is such a place of comfort. To ignore what's going on politically is such a place of comfort. You know, I absolutely, you know, love the energy that you've brought just to the TDH group to discuss these kind of things, right? Because, you know, I love that our perspectives are different. You know, you've got to engage. And I keep telling people when we're discussing politics, it's not necessarily about right or wrong, because we're going to have different things that are important to us. But the overall thing is that whatever your ideology is, it shouldn't be, in my opinion, to cause harm to others, right? It shouldn't be to inflict harm to others. And let's be honest, some people's ideology is all about conquering others, right? So I just want to say I appreciate how you know, address things like this. I will also add, I don't know about if there should be a by-election, but I do think that that person has a lot of explaining to their constituents who voted for them. And if their constituents tell them, well, I voted for you as this, then that person should resign. I do. Whether that's going to happen, probably not. But I do think that they do owe their constituents. And I echo what Emily Senator Dill says. So proud of you, Teray. You were brilliant, always brilliant and destined for greatness.
Hi, Miss Dill. She used to teach me.
Don't age nobody now.
Well, oh no, she looks great. She looks great, Miss Dill. You look amazing. You do not look like you taught me, but I had to explain why I addressed her as Miss Dill.
Real quickly, just want to address Maureen Callender. As stated, I really appreciate the partnership with Freisenbruch, the education, the understanding, and I appreciate the question that Teray asked this morning about her generation and climate change. This is important. You know, whether you believe climate change or not, we all can agree one thing: the storms are getting stronger, slower, and they're coming more frequent and earlier. It's changed. The climate is different. And I appreciate Freisenbruch educating us and helping us understand what influences cost. People don't know that. We just think, oh, insurance is a scam. Prices always going up. Folks, it's so much more to it. Some of it's tied to how we vote. I'm just saying.
It is. And you know, Jamal, one more thing before we log off is you reminded me of something when you said when we talk about politics, it's often divisive. I really don't like the fact that we live in a time where politics is something that's off limits. Like we're not supposed to talk about it, because I mean, Aristotle says that we're political animals. And I really do believe in his line of argument. Like we are political animals, and politics follows us into the workplace, into our houses, into our friendships, into our relationships. And this is why I was so open to joining TDH, because I love the fact that there is, like you said, diversity of thought and also space for debate and argument. I mean, I love that. So I feel like my mercurial side really appreciates that we are encouraged to disagree. And I feel like as a society, we have to learn how to disagree, because otherwise, what is really the point? Like, I don't think there should ever be consensus.
Or disagreement should not be disrespect. I want to also address something real quickly before we leave, though. Folks, don't take me too seriously as the ladder behind your names. And I'm going to use Teray. So when I graduated with my MBA, a lot of my classmates, they put MBA right next to their name as soon as they graduated. So I was asked why I won't do it. And more to do something what Teray always says. And this is something that's maybe it's my own thing. But the reason I don't do it is because I don't want people having expectations of me that they put on others, because you will be disappointed. That's why I don't share, like, I don't even, on my resume, I'm not even sure if my latest resume, I have my degrees on there. Seriously.
What?
Yeah.
Jimmo, that's got to change.
We'll talk about that off air. We can do it on air later, but I'll tell you why. But yeah, so here's another thing real quickly, as far as insurance. I don't know if they do this in Bermuda. So do you know when you get car insurance in the US, right? If you have like a master's degree, you have the opportunity of lowering your premium.
I did not, but it sounds like I need car insurance in the US.
They take your education, and so it's so many things. And I was just like, that's not fair, because I know people who they're intelligent, but they didn't have the means to go to school, and you know, so I don't know. I just, again, it's beneficial. Let me be honest, it's beneficial to use it, but I'll explain. I think that's worthy of a conversation, Teray, as to why I don't use that. We could talk about it on the air since we're talking about it now, but we gotta go. Well, I have to go. You got some daily inspiration for the audience?
I do. Today's daily inspiration is from another Stoic called Seneca. And the quote is, "Luck is when opportunity meets preparation." So prepare for those hurricanes and you'll get lucky.
Yeah. Preparation, folks. That's been my word of the summer to people, you know. Prepare. Preparation changes the game. Folks, please don't forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com. Don't forget, win up to $1,000 in prizes. The only way to do that is you have to be subscribed to the website. Follow us on all of our social media channels. Stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC Group of Companies, Medicals, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we can do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. She's Teray Tall. I'm Jamal Hartman. Please do make it a great and a safe day. We are out. Peace.